Behind every gym, there's a story, a mission, a spark of passion that started it all. This is Gymdesk Originals. Real owners, real struggles, and the communities they've built from the ground up.
What's up, everybody? Hello from Las Vegas, Nevada. I'm here at Roll Society Jiu-Jitsu, where they have all kinds of different programs. I think today I'm going to be doing a half judo, half jiu-jitsu. Can't wait to check it out. Let's go.
Hi, my name is Joey. I'm one of the owners here at Roll Society Jiu-Jitsu Academy. If you're looking for jiu-jitsu for kids, teens, or adults, come on down. We offer jiu-jitsu and judo for all age groups, 4 and above. So come on down and give us a try, and you won't regret it.
Professor Santos.
Nice to see you, sir.
Yeah, nice to see you. Thank you for having us here today, or having me today. Had a good judo session today. The school has, I guess, evolved over time. And first time I came here was probably like 7 months ago. We did just jiu-jitsu, and then today we had some judo, which is great. So tell me about the programs that we have here at Roll Society.
So we teach traditional jiu-jitsu from the Guido Gracie style back in Brazil when he first learned it. We try to stick to the roots cores. We did start a new judo program so that some of our students can pick up some stand-up skills, helps for the tournaments, helps with the self-defense. It all marries together beautifully. For jiu-jitsu is obviously primarily focused on the ground game. So my expertise is all on the ground. Professor Wayne comes in, helps share his knowledge for judo, gets everybody's technique on their feet. Working, balance comes together beautifully. It's a great program.
That's awesome. And so how long have you been part of Roll Society?
So I started here with Roll Society about 2 months ago. Me and Joey met up. I was teaching before friends and family at my garage, basically, with my setup. Joey had the school here, needed an instructor. Said, hey, I heard you're an instructor without a school. I'm a school without an instructor. Maybe we can get together and help each other out. So we saw what we could do for each other. Took his family that he still had, took my family that I still had, brought us together, and starting to start some good stuff here now.
Yeah, that's awesome. So I told Joey this before. I actually kind of have a similar background. I have a little garage dojo. I have a black belt taekwondo. I trained in some judo and jiu-jitsu, and it's fun. I mean, I don't do it for money. I was just doing it because I loved it, and I still do it. So you got this offer to be part of a studio and, be part of Roll Society. How does it make you feel? You're like,
I love teaching. So a long time ago, my professors, I've had the blessing of learning under many brilliant black belts over the last 13, 14, 15 years. They taught me a long time ago, some guys are great at competing. Some guys are great at rolling on the mat. And some people are great at teaching. And just because you're a great competitor doesn't mean you're a great teacher. Just because you're a great teacher doesn't mean you're a great competitor. And that's the beauty of jiu-jitsu. There's something there for everybody. Whether you're kids, seniors, adults, you might be doing this for fun, for exercise. Maybe you want to be the next MMA fighter. Maybe you're just having a midlife crisis and just getting old like we are. Need to get some exercise in. But there's something there for everybody. I found my passion in sharing knowledge. So that's why I started teaching at home in the garage when I got my black belt. The biggest joy I had was sharing with people the love of the art. I was taught from my original professors a true love of the art of jiu-jitsu. And if I can instill that in my students and I see them love it, then watch their journeys grow, that's what I love.
That's awesome. So tell us about your martial arts journey, like your background, when you started, that kind of thing.
I was like a lot of people, like probably like you, like most people. I was a working dad, full-time job. I was getting old. I was mid-30s and said, I need to do something with my life, get some exercise. I can't run. I have no cardio. My knees are shot. but I wanted to do something. And obviously, like a bunch of us guys were watching MMA. We've probably been watching UFC since, it started back in the day. We're wrestling with our friends and, in the grass. And I said, I want to do something, but MMA was a little rough. Kickboxing was a little rough. I went and looked at a kickboxing school. I went and looked at a taekwondo school. The honest answer, I didn't want to get punched in the face.
Yeah.
But jiu-jitsu offered this beautiful little in-between where it was serious enough where the live grappling, the live sparring gave it a nice little sense of realism. It wasn't too far of a step from wrestling because I wrestled a lot in junior high, high school. Okay. So it just added the submissions to it. But it's funny what you don't know. So, like most of us guys, we walk in there the first day as a white belt. You got some years of wrestling on your experience. And you're like, this is going to be easy. Then you get your ass handed to you by some 14-year-old kid, with a green belt on. And you're like, what the hell? So it's a beautiful, eye-opening thing. My professors told me they love the analogy of chess. This is like body chess.
Yeah.
And right now we're just learning how to move our bodies. Once we get the black belt, doesn't mean you're a master. Just means you learn how to play the game. Now you can go play the game. So that was the beautiful thing. So my journey started a long time ago, working a full-time job, trying to raise my kids. It's a tough journey for most people. Having that balance, dragging yourself into class, it's a tough journey for all of us. It took me 13 years to complete my journey. I got my black belt under Mika Sakuya. He runs all the Gracie Micah schools here in town. Great black belt, great lineage. He instilled a lot of core beliefs in us. It's not just about being a badass on the mat. It's about being a good person in real life. But sharing all that knowledge with my kids, I was able to share with my kids at home, friends and family. It's a beautiful journey. And we're always students. It's one thing that you realize in the beginning. We're white belts and we're racing to get our blue belt. We're racing to get our purple belt. And then you realize there's no purpose to the race because the race never ends. There literally is no end to the journey. So even now as a black belt, I'm still a student. I'm still learning. I'm still learning judo from my friend who's teaching judo here. I still go back to my main school, take some classes, seminars here and there. The journey never ends. And the beautiful thing about knowledge, you never know everything there is to know. There's always more. And jiu-jitsu is constantly evolving. As you've probably known, I've seen jiu-jitsu evolve over the last 10 years. And what it was 10, 15 years ago and what it is now, slightly different, but still beautiful, still core. I love sticking to the basics, core jiu-jitsu, teach all the guys all the good stuff, and then we play around, have fun, grow together, we make each other stronger. Yeah, that's the beauty of it all.
Yeah, that's it's a very interesting perspective, and it's probably super obvious for all of those people who have reached the black belt level, probably even purple level and brown levels and all. But as a white belt guy who's been off and on for a long time, for me, my experience has always been like, you go to a class, you practice something, you do it a little bit, then you kind of forget it and you don't remember how to apply it. But like recently, since I've been like getting back into it, it's all kind of coming together a little bit better for me, where I'm starting to like piece it. And I'm like, oh yeah. And I'm like, oh, I think I can build a foundation, but I still have so many, it's just like and then you say now at the black belt level, you're just getting started in the game. And you still have even more levels to go. It's like this thing never ends.
It doesn't. No. Yeah. I like to use the analogy with my students. We're putting together a jigsaw puzzle.
Yeah.
But I threw all the pieces in a plastic bag and I didn't tell you what the picture looked like. And I dumped all the pieces out on the floor and said, good luck.
Yeah.
And right now in the beginning as white belts, you're just putting the edges of the puzzle together.
Right.
You get the blue belt, you're separating your colors, your sky's blue, your grass is green. By the time you get the purple belt, you can kind of sit back. And you see the puzzle now. There's still a lot of missing pieces, but you can see the picture. Picture's not complete. A bunch of missing pieces. You get the purple, and now you're filling in one of those pieces. You get the black. Okay, great. You have your puzzle together. Then your friend turns around and says, okay, there's 100 more puzzles back here. Yeah. Pick a new puzzle. It doesn't end.
The beauty of the journey in learning all these things, for those who already are into it, it's like, you kind of get addicted to it, right?
Yes.
You can get into this thing. You're like, wow, it's cool. And it also feels like, I don't know, you kind of said something about it. Made me like, if I'm stressed with work, I go in there and I'm rolling. It's like, I'm not thinking about anything. So I just don't want to get choked. So it allows you to focus. On that moment. It just don't die, right? Like there's an element of that. But I'm used to it. So someone coming in off the street, right? They want to try this. They're interested. Like what do you hope to instill in them when they're walking in the door so that they can become part of this journey?
The honest answer is everybody's going to be treated slightly different. So what you're going to expect out of a kid versus what you expect out of a teenager, what you expect out of an adult. At the kid levels, they got to have fun.
Yeah.
You know, if the kids aren't having fun, because they don't want to say the kids aren't picking to come to jiu-jitsu. It's their parents signing them up.
Right.
It's their parents saying, hey, I saw this on TV. I want my kid to be a badass. This is going to be good for you. You know, the kids are walking in here kind of like, you know, do I really want to be here? So my goal with the kids, let them have fun. Right. Let them feel interactive. You know, try not to correct them too much. It'll all come with time. All the perfection of the move, the position, the technique, it'll all improve over time. In the beginning with the kids, have fun. Have them involved, have them working, understanding how their bodies move, getting them comfortable with their body, with their weight distribution, with their balance. You know, it all starts there with them. Teenagers, same idea, but then we can take it a little more serious with the teenagers. They're a little smarter. They catch on a little quicker. They're going to try a little harder, but the same concept. You can't push them too hard. Don't want to discourage them. Don't want them to feel negative about anything. They get enough of that in the real world. And I know a lot of these parents, you know, they want to see their kids doing awesome on day one. But no one's going to perfect anything on the first day. Everything is a growth stage. You get the adults in here, kind of depends on what they're after. You know, you get some adults coming in here, they want to be the tough guy. They want, you know, they're seeing the MMA fights. They want to be the tough guy. Okay, great. That's what you want out of it. You get the dentist who comes in here, who's just, you know, looking for some cardio, looking for some fun, looking for just something to do after, you know, his long day at work. It's a nice little distraction, nice little mental break. There is something to be said. It's not just physical. This is as much a mental game as it is physical. So like, as you mentioned, you can't think about your problems of the day. You can't think about your bills. You know, yeah, your rent is due, but you're not thinking about that when the guy's knocking on coffee,
That's right.
choking you out, you know? So it's a beautiful little stress relief.
What do you see as the vision here? Like, what do you guys hope to achieve here in the next, like, 6 to 12 months?
You know, there's lots of jiu-jitsu schools in town. There's lots of jiu-jitsu schools around the country. It became really popular. It's a beautiful thing. We love sharing the art. We love sharing the knowledge. You know, I like to think that I have a motto here. Learn something new, have fun, don't get hurt. You can do those three things. You can come in here and learn something new, have fun, and go home and not get hurt. It's a great day. It's a great day. And we will grow with that. I can share that love that my professors gave me of jiu-jitsu, and I can share that love with my students and have them fall in love with the sport, with the martial art. And they're going to go share it with their kids, and they're going to share it with their family, and they're going to share it with their friends. And that's the beauty of how we all grow together. You'll go to a tournament and you're fighting the guy across the mat. You've probably seen this. You know, these guys are trying to kill each other.
Yeah.
As soon as that match is over, you'll see the biggest hug. You'll see the most respect, because there's a community there. There's a love in the art. And even 1 minute we might be trying to, but the next minute we're going to shake hands and be proud of each other for that effort that we put in. You know, and it is the effort that will yield its own rewards over time. We want to try to grow, get some more students in here, get the judo program started, you know, going good for everybody, and just have some fun. You know, I'd rather see everybody have fun, learn together, grow together. That's the environment we're trying to achieve here.
And your children, you how many children do you have?
I got two.
Two?
And they're both here.
They're both here. I was going to ask you.
Yeah, they're both here. But again, same concept as I mentioned before. When I started, when I got my black belt and I was teaching friends and family in my garage, I didn't force my kids to come.
Yeah.
You know, I didn't say, hey, you kids, you got to come down and do, you know, training with me every day. No, I let them come and have fun when they want to. And, hey, Dad, I want to go play. Okay, come on, let's go play. Never serious. My kids are now 9 and 11.
Okay.
And now they want to get into it. So now I got the school. Now they're coming down here, but now they're having fun with it.
Yeah.
Now it's not something that they're being forced to do. Now it's not like every Tuesday and Thursday, you guys got to come to class. No, now it's like, hey, Dad, can I come to class?
Yeah.
Yeah, come on down. You know, that's what I wanted to see. I wanted them.
You wanted to come from inside,
yes,
instead of you like dragging them in here, right?
Yes, and that's it. And that's again back to the thing with the kids who come in here. I don't want to force anything out of them. I want them to find that love. I want to see them smile. I want to see them go home and be like, hey, I had fun. I want to go back tomorrow. That's what's going to keep them coming back as adults.
Yeah, for sure.
You know, that's what's going to make it a forever sport.
Have you had any, I know it's only been around 2 months, but have you had any like really cool stories of like kids who come in here and they were like shy and they're like kind of breaking out of their shells, or, you know, anything like that?
You know, on a side conversation, like I said, I do this for fun. I still have a day job. I work in an office. I work, 9, 10, 11 hours a day, come here and do this afterwards. There was a time I wanted to be a teacher. I went into college. I took all the classes to go be an elementary school teacher. And sadly, they don't get paid very well, which is the reason why I stopped pursuing that career. But it's an interesting concept that sadly in today's educational system, they have to force the kids through, whether the kids are ready or not. So you're going to have half these kids who are ready, half these kids are armed.
Yeah.
But the curriculum has to keep going. You can't slow down for the kids who need it, and you can't speed up for the kids who are ahead. You have to follow this program, and the kids just kind of go through it. And I hated that, thinking of myself as a teacher in a school. So when I got to teach here, the beauty right now of us being small, I can dictate a lot of the classes to the individuals who are here.
Mm-hmm.
You know, the most exciting thing I saw was a 3-year-old who signed up last week, who listens, tries, and works harder than half of the freaking teenagers I have.
Yeah.
And it's a beautiful thing to see. You know, we have a 13-year-old who has this natural talent. It's like watching a young Michael Jordan.
Yeah.
You know, like you can see the innate talent in some of these kids. And it's like, oh my God, you as an adult, you're going to be 10 times better than me. You know, you're just a kid right now. But to see that natural skill, that natural ability come out of these kids, that's a beautiful thing to see. That like just makes me want to come back and do this again.
Yeah.
Because when you see them picking it up, when you see them loving it, when you see them applying it, that's the joy of it all.
It's cool to hear you say, you know, you're basically doing this for fun. You have a full-time job, right? And you're 9 to 5 or whatever, right? We did a survey and it was, I don't remember the exact percentage. It was like 70 to 80% of all of, you know, our customers, whatever they're doing, could be a martial art place, could be a regular gym. They do it because of the passion that they want to share this knowledge.
Yes.
And it's such a cool thing to be, that's what I do. It's like, I feel like what we're doing with our software and our technology is to help people express that passion, right? Getting people inside their 4 walls, in this case on the mat, so you can present that. So it's really cool to hear that. You want to share what you do in your professional life?
Oh, I work at an architectural firm.
Okay.
So here in Vegas, there's obviously a lot of construction that goes on.
Yeah.
So I work for an architectural firm by the name of KGA. We've done casinos, police stations, schools, all that stuff around town. Sadly, I'm not an architect. I'm a document control specialist, so I keep track of files, paperwork. I have the blessing of having a desk job.
Okay.
So that's the saving grace that I'm not working construction out in the 110-degree Vegas weather.
Yeah.
I get to sit inside an office, behind a computer, behind a desk. I've been at my company for 20 years. They were great through my jiu-jitsu journey. There was a time when I was still a student. I was training. I was going to classes during my lunch hour. So classes were, 12 to 2 or something. But I would take a long lunch. And I'd come back from my lunch and I'd be sweating. And I would bust an arm. I'm limping on my knee. I'm limping over my computer. But my work was always very supportive. They gave me the extra time. They didn't nag me when I showed up late or any of that kind of stuff. So they were really great about it. And even now, with what I'm doing now, because my company is aware, obviously, that I'm now starting to run my own business. And again, they're very supportive. They're like, as long as you're still getting your job done, we wish you success. And so great people. Surround yourself with great people in life. You'll grow.
That's awesome.
And that's what we love to do here. Surround ourselves with some great people.
Great. Well, thank you so much.
No, sir. Thank you for sharing your time with us.
Yeah.
Hopefully you enjoyed your lesson today.
I did. Had a great
come back
time.
again. You're welcome. Come back anytime.
Yeah.
Everyone, come back and join us anytime.
Great class. Come check it out.
Thank you, sir.
Awesome. Thank you very much. Nice to see you again.
Hello, Alex.
Yeah.
Nice to see you too. Thanks for stopping by.
Yeah, it's been 6 months since I first stopped by here.
That's it?
Yeah.
All right.
It
It seems like it's longer.
Yeah, so I think it was February, something like that. February,
Okay.
March. So a little bit of changes that have gone on.
Yes, definitely had some changes.
Yeah. Had a great class today. I did judo. We did some introductory warm-ups, just reminding me a lot of some of the stuff that we used to do, or I used to do way back when.
Good workout, right?
Good workout. Yeah, really good workout. I felt a little embarrassed. I was like putting puddles everywhere I was walking. So, but no, it was a great class. Would love to start by introducing you to everybody. Love to know a little bit about your background, like where you're from and your martial art background. That'd be really good to know.
My name is Joey, first of all. I'm from Long Beach, California originally. I left to the military, the Army, specifically when I was 18. I did a little over 6 years. I was a grunt. I'm sure if you were in the military, you probably know what that is. So I was a pencil pusher or anything like that.
Yeah.
I got hired outside a federal government job with the U.S. Marshals. I did that for about 16, 17 years. Throughout that time, I actually went to Ground Zero 9/11. Was there for about 30 days. Went to Hurricane Katrina. Did that for about 3 weeks. Did some other details for like higher profile trials like the Aaron Brotherhood and Fabio Cho up in Florida and stuff like that. It was a good experience for all around. Time came and I ended up medically retiring. I didn't know what to do. I did Hapkido for about 12 years, secondary black belt in Hapkido, but I had a 20-year hiatus. So when I moved here in '08 in Las Vegas, there was no place. The couple places that were closed down. So I was kind of limbo. I did Taekwondo a little bit, but really didn't care for it. And just kind of roaming around, I guess, and just didn't really do anything. Well, I always wanted to do jiu-jitsu and try it, but just people on top of you sweating. I just didn't really, just didn't want to try it yet. When I finally got the nerve to try it, COVID happened and every place shut down. So I had to wait until afterwards. So there's this Gracie Baja Jiu-Jitsu Academy that opened down the street from me, like 5 minutes. There was no excuse. So I walked in, gave it a try, went with a buddy of mine, did about 3 days, loved it. I felt so helpless. I was like, you know what? It's like one of those things like, I was like, okay, I had no idea. Younger guy, woman, whatever, a kid, just was taking advantage of me. I was like, dude, I got to learn this. My buddy did it too, only 2 days. And he's like, dude, I can't do this. I quit. He was like, it was so hard. So that was my first exposure to jiu-jitsu. And from there, I ended up moving somewhere else. I met somebody else and trained with them. We opened a school together. It didn't quite work out. He ended up having some personal issues and moving back to Brazil. I ended up rebranding from that Jiu-Jitsu Academy to Roll Society. I met somebody else through my chiropractor, and we gave it a trial for about a couple weeks. We hit it off really good, and so we've been open for about 2 or 3 months now. I think closer to 3 months. It's a good relationship. We both understand each other. It's his dream. I'm just along for the journey. And I love jiu-jitsu. I see the value in it. My kids do it. I have a 9-year-old and a 4-year-old girls. So I want them to learn to defend themselves, not be a victim. And, they don't have to be a bully or beat up anybody, but I want them not to be afraid of, fighting or anybody that comes at them. So the confidence level. I do see value in this. I do enjoy jiu-jitsu. It's kind of taking a toll on me. I do this about 4 or 5 days a week, and then I do Hapkido on Saturdays. So busy body.
Wow.
So, yeah.
That's
48 now, so the body's not as young as it used to be.
Yes,
so I'm hanging in there until I can't do anymore. But
no, that's pretty good, man. That's 5 days a week you're training?
Just about.
Yeah.
Just about.
Wow.
Taking a toll, though. I can feel it.
Yeah.
Sometimes I can barely roll out of bed. So I'm keeping up with it. I think I got to kind of slack a little bit, though.
Yeah.
And move back a little bit.
Give yourself a little time to
exactly.
recover, right?
Exactly. I just don't know how to do it.
Yeah. So that man, there's so much to unpack there. Maybe Hapkido. That's a good thing. I have some familiarity because of the Taekwondo relationship. But for those people out there who don't know what Hapkido is, can you tell us a little bit of background on that?
It's a traditional Korean martial art, different than Taekwondo. It's mostly like joint locks, they do have some submissions, but it's mostly like misconception is not like the Japanese Aikido where you use momentum and harmony in the face, and you kind of use them. It's a lot of bone breaking, if you will, and if you need to, joint locks, submissions, using people's articulation of their body and stuff like that to use against them. And basically, that's pretty much it. Some kicks, a little striking here and there, but that's pretty much the gist of it.
So, and is it military art? Is that kind of where it started?
I believe it originated originally from Japan. It was taught to some Koreans, and some Koreans masters that went back to Korea. And they changed it around, obviously just like any other martial art to fit them. Mm-hmm. And then they end up rebranding it to, their needs. But, every martial art originates from somewhere. But yes, it's a traditional Korean martial art that they use in the military in Korea.
And so is there applicability of what you do there when you're on the mat doing jiu-jitsu, or not really? Because they're more, break your fingers or something.
Yeah, it's not really. Maybe the wrist locks and, and heel hooks and stuff like that. You can use the ability for that. But I mean, other than that, there's really no ground fighting or it's more like a stand-up game and stuff like that. So
got it.
Jiu-jitsu is kind of like one of those things that's very on its own, If you're asking me, it's not identical, or I don't think it's like anything of similarities, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
Except for the wrist locks, but.
Got it. How about let's go back to time in the military. Last time we spoke, I think you told me you were military police, MP.
Yes, I was a 19 Delta Camp Scout, which is recon, and then I was a military police officer. So
Recon means you go out and you're like deployed to, I guess, do reconnaissance.
yes, so you go in groups of probably 4 or 5. You go out there and you do recon, you radio back, you're on your own, that kind of thing. So it was, it was. I didn't go to. I went into the military after Desert Storm and got out before Afghanistan. Unfortunately, they never called me back. I had 2 years inactive, so when 9/11 hit, I'm surprised. But I don't know if I was lucky or however you want to look at it, though. But I never got called back. So
yeah. But regardless, thank you for your service. Sir.
Thank you.
Appreciate you. So you finish that, then you become a federal air marshal.
No, okay. The misconception of that is that the federal air marshals are FAA, yes, which is different. A U.S. Marshal.
Oh, U.S. Marshal.
Yes,
okay.
That's okay. If you ever watched The Fugitive with Tommy Lee Jones.
Okay, yeah.
The older crowd, I guess, would know what that is. So basically, you work with the courts, but Department of Justice. You track down fugitives. You take prisoners to court.
Okay.
You guard judges, juries, court families, stuff like that. Sometimes, I call overglorified bailiffs, so to speak. But we have our place everywhere we go. So.
Okay. And you did that for how long?
I did it for about 16, 17 years.
Okay. So you did that for a while.
Yes.
Okay. Got it. Cool. So then while you're doing this, you're also training Hapkido at that time?
Yes.
Okay.
I started training in Hapkido when I was in high school. And then before that, I was Taekwondo for a little bit, but didn't really care for it, honestly. Wasn't into the kicks. I started in high school. I kept with it all throughout. When I was in the military, I did a little judo in the military, but I had a fracture in my foot and I quit. But I stayed with Hapkido, so it was about 12 years off and on. And then my stops, I would do Hapkido at different places. And it wasn't until I actually moved to Salt Lake City, my last stop before I moved to Vegas, that I trained with Master Kim for about 5 or 6 years before I transferred here. And it was pretty much where I got a lot of the training. Fortunately, he passed away. He had a heart attack back in 2015. So obviously I don't keep in touch with him. So
yeah, let's talk about what inspired you. I know you had mentioned you were looking for something to do. You had fallen in love with jiu-jitsu. You were at Gracie Baja.
Yes.
And then you said, hi, you know what? I want to do my own thing, open up my own school. You said you found someone you wanted to partner with, and you guys went into business. You started this place. That's when I had visited you 6 months ago, whatever it was. Some changes happened. You're going through building something, and then you have like a key part of your business, right? Is your partner in teaching the classes and all that, and he has to go back for whatever reason. What are you thinking through all this? I mean, it must be super stressful.
Well, first off, I never really thought about opening a school or getting in business, as far as opening a jiu-jitsu school. It was kind of a leisure thing, I want to learn. I want to train, and I want to see how far I can go with that. The opportunity came when my last partner was just kind of was soliciting, hey, you know what? I want to open a school one day. Maybe if anybody's interested, maybe we do partnership or this and that. And of course, there was some other people interested, but obviously everything takes money. So here, I have this money, but it's not enough. I had enough money to get it going. Didn't want to have a lot of hands in the pot. So I was like, look, if we're going to do this, we're going to be partners. It's going to be 50-50, right? And he was like, I'm not sure. But then he didn't, I think he came back and was like, okay, let's do this, right? So we opened the school together. Like I said, I never ventured to do something like this, but I value jiu-jitsu and I value the training and I love it. Mm-hmm. So I thought it was like, hey, you know what? It's great. It's like opening a gym and you like to bodybuild or you like to go to, lift weights. Can't be any perfect, right? So I opened the school with him and it's going great. He has a lot of knowledge and training, but unfortunately, personal issues started coming up. He's from Brazil originally. It just the toll of everything that was coming up, and the personal issues.
Mm-hmm.
It just came to an end, and it was like one of those things. I think I was kind of planning for it because you can see the signs. It happened a little quicker than I had hoped for, but our business relationship ended. I don't think suddenly. It was kind of like one of the things, like I said, it was happening.
Yep.
And he ended up going back to Brazil, and I had to solicit somebody else that was interested because I had the business here. I had everything already, set up, and I just needed to find somebody that was going to be the face. Now, if I was a black belt, would I do it on my own? No, it's too much for one person. I think, my business partner right now agrees. So it's a good relationship in the fact that he runs the mats. He's the black belt. He loves teaching, and he loves doing everything outside of it. On the other end, I do the managerial stuff. I pay the bills. I make sure everything's caught up. I make sure that we have everything that we need. So we bring those two sides together, and it just works out. So we have good understanding. I think that it's going to go a lot further than my last partner, unfortunately. And I hope this is something that just goes, further. And I'm glad that it's my partner's dream, and I'm just here to ride the coattails, and hopefully we both succeed at something. And maybe one day, if my body doesn't break down, I can make a black belt. But other than that, I'm just enjoying the ride.
That's awesome. So thank you for sharing all that. And I'm sure other people out there, I actually know of a few schools who've kind of gone through a similar experience where, it didn't work out, and, recover and you keep going, but that persistence is it's an important thing. Obviously, as someone who's gone through and done the things that you have done in your life, I think you have that in you. You're now sort of resetting. I think Coach or Professor Santos has been with you for 2 months?
2 or 3 months.
2 months.
Yeah. Give or take.
Yeah. In sort of in your eyes, as you think about what the next 6 months, 12 months, like how are you thinking about that? You're kind of restarting almost, right?
Yeah, the restarts, it was kind of hard though, but I do have to pat myself on the back though, because I think most people would be like, okay, the face of the business is kind of gone. What am I going to do? I got to find somebody, right? I was just lucky enough to have, somebody in mind already. Well, a couple of people in mind, but this one actually was on the top of my mind. That actually worked out. I was just very fortunate and lucky and blessed that it was something that he was interested, Professor Santos, and he wanted also. And he understands, what it takes, because, to try to open a business, because we were discussing it in the fact that, it takes a lot of effort, a lot of money, a lot of, man hours and stuff like that. Something like I said, I couldn't do on my own. And then would I want to do on my own? Probably not. So the good thing about that is that he came in with the passion that I actually envy. He loves teaching. He loves doing everything, but the managerial issue he doesn't care for, obviously, the background, which I don't mind doing. That's my forte. Yeah. So I do envy him, and I do admire him, because his teaching style is phenomenal, first of all. And he's very, very attentive to everybody, meaning that he's on the mat. He makes sure everybody's safe. He makes sure everybody learns details. He makes sure he goes over everything specifically, meticulously, just everything. So his teaching style is top notch. And I can appreciate that, because if anybody that's done martial arts before and had gone to different gyms or different dojos or different schools, they probably can tell you, look, I've been to places where some teachers are good, some teachers aren't good, and that's really what I think sets a lot of the academies apart, are the teaching aspects and abilities of your teacher, and how they grasp and how they keep people involved, students involved. Because if you don't have a good teaching style, or you don't have a good teaching plan, or curriculum or anything like that, you're not gonna retain, or you're not gonna obtain any students to stay or leave.
Yeah, we talked a little bit about this. I mentioned we did judo today. That's really cool that you're doing that, right? Because I go to a lot of schools where it's just, I've trained also, personally in a jiu-jitsu place, and that's all they do, which is great because they're great at it. But that top game is always kind of missing. You see all the memes on Instagram. Oh, yeah. It's like, oh, pull guard. Everyone just, it's that joke. So mixing it up with judo, I think it's a really good idea for, jiu-jitsu place, just to get that well-rounded experience. How did you find a judo black belt that wanted it?
So Professor Santos had a friend and a partner that actually went to, a jiu-jitsu school with him, Gracie. And they both pretty much got their black belts almost the same time. So they were friends. And Professor Wayne just happened to also do judo at the same time because he wanted to perfect his, takedown game.
Okay. Yeah.
So, which I've seen some videos of Professor Wayne, which he was phenomenal back in the day as a competitor. And he's right. You want to learn your takedowns, and that's what he did judo for. At any rate, Professor Santos knew Professor Wayne, who was interested in teaching classes also. But he's also, why don't we just, if I can teach some judo classes, maybe we can instill that and we'll see what the interest level is, right? And it was great. It was just a great idea by Professor Santos to bring him in and give it a trial. And so far it's been a good hit. We're doing it on Fridays. As soon as we get more traction, we'll probably do a little bit more. So when I did my first competition, I might have known like 3 takedowns.
Yeah.
And guess what? It didn't really work, and I'm kind of stuck. You're pretty much either guard pulling or you're kind of pushing each other, right?
Yeah.
So I know the value of judo takedowns, which I'm just learning myself. But I think a lot of people, like as you saw the class today, was actually a pretty good turnout, and everybody enjoyed it. But there's so much that can be done with judo. Your takedowns, like, I mean, if you look at like a competition, it's like the stand-up game. It's like, okay, what are we going to do here? We're going to pull guard, or are we just we're going to sit down and pull you into me, or we're going to stand up and dance, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so Professor Santos knew Professor Wayne. He knew judo. So he's a black belt in judo also, and a 1-stripe black belt in jiu-jitsu. He was interested, and we've been pretty much cruising since then.
Maybe bridging into something like outside of the space here and Vegas, Long Beach, how that happened. You grew up there, and how'd you end up here?
So I grew up in Long Beach, California. As soon as I graduated high school, I left the military when I was 18.
Okay.
And I pretty much just had a couple months for summer vacation. I went to basic training. I never thought I'd be in the military, but I did it anyways. The best thing I ever did. College money, all that good stuff, paid for training and all that stuff. From 18 to 24, when I was in the military, I ended up applying for a job with U.S. Marshals. I got a hire on with the U.S. Marshals. I started out in Scranton, Pennsylvania, transferred to Salt Lake on a promotion. And then I was going to try to go back to L.A., like Santa Ana, but I didn't want to go to the L.A. office. So, it's like chaotic 3-hour drive from Long Beach, whatnot.
Yeah.
So I tried to transfer, which I ended up getting to Las Vegas, which is about 4 hours away, right? Give or take. But it's close enough, but far enough, right?
Yeah.
To be away. So that's how I ended up coming here. So, and then I just pretty much implanted myself here. My wife is born and raised here. My kids, are born and raised here. So I really don't miss California, to be honest with you. Every time I go back, I just don't miss it. I don't know about you, but I don't miss it at all.
Yeah. No offense to California, because that's where I'm born and raised. Bay Area, not as much. Maybe it's because I spent, it's been over 50% of my life on this planet was there.
Mm-hmm.
Southern California, in San Diego, I really liked, but I was only there for a short amount of time. So I do like Southern California, San Diego, Los Angeles, the traffic.
Well, here's the thing about that, though, is everyone's like, oh, man, California's so great. How come you don't want to live there? Visiting is one thing.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And then living there is another thing, okay? Yeah. You don't want to, work to live, And visiting is like, oh, I see the great things. I see the hero spots. I don't have to work. And then you leave, right?
Yeah.
Now you live there all the time. You think, you're going to have fun the whole time? Probably not.
Yeah.
That's what I don't miss. The traffic, the people, it's just so crowded. The cost of living, it's ridiculous,
Yeah.
So it's like, how do you want to live your life, right?
Yeah.
So not only that, I always tell people, like my family, my sister, or my friends, if you've never lived or if you've never left California to live anywhere else, you really don't know any different, So my sister will never move, or my mom will never move from California because they don't know any different. I left when I was 18 in the military. I've seen other places. I've been to the South. I've been to the East Coast. I've been here. I've been North. I've seen it. I know there's other things outside of California. I know there's a better life outside of California, potentially, right?
Yeah.
So I don't really care to go back.
Let's talk about how you found us. I remember talking about this before, but I'd love, we don't have that footage now. So
So how I found you. So when I started at Gracie Baja, they used something similar, or Gymdesk itself. I'm not sure, to be honest with you.
Mm-hmm.
I know I was familiar with it from, signing in, paying, my tuition, doing the profile, stuff like that. And when I opened the school here, I had to find something that can, do our billing, do our memberships, do just everything that I didn't want to do on paper, obviously, like the old school days, right? And plus, new technology, that's what people are looking for. So I looked you guys up. I found it. I did a little tutorial. I kind of was semi-familiar with, obviously the customer aspect of it, obviously. Mm-hmm. And I did the trial. It seemed like it was easy enough. Some of it was a learning curve that I'm still learning right now somewhat, but it was easy enough to try to figure out on my own or correct the mistakes. I ended up just, paying the fee and sticking with you guys, and I haven't regretted since then.
How's been the experience with, interacting with the company? Like you reach out to support sometimes here and there for that.
In the beginning, it was a little rocky, but what I like about Gymdesk and you guys is that you guys value feedback. So I've given you some feedback. Since then, everything, pretty much has been taken care of. You guys taking care of me. I like you guys. I mean, you guys get to me in a timely manner. You guys actually went above and beyond. Specifically you, thank you. Okay. You guys have taken care of me very well to the point like I, won't look for anywhere else, obviously. So not only that, hey, you come and visit the school. You're very personable. We still keep in contact when you're gone, dude, it's awesome. It's awesome when you can keep in contact with the CEO and you still be friends. And if I got a problem, maybe, I try not to bother you as much. But you know what? It just means the world. It really does. Because, I could sit there and be like, oh, can I need some help? And then 48 hours to a week later, I don't hear anything or something like that. I get a response just about right away. And I do appreciate that. And I appreciate that you guys helped me out with the website and you guys kind of understood my situation. And you guys did everything that you could to help me rebound from my last, business to the new business. I appreciate that very much.
Yeah, well, we're honored to be here to help, and I'm glad you're here, and you're now Roll Society, and we got
to start all over, but it's okay. You know what? Sometimes you learn from your mistakes, or you learn from past ventures, and you just move on from there, and you don't make the same mistakes again, right?
Yeah.
So good or bad, but still, you know.
Any features that you really like in the product that you're like, oh, I use this all the time, or anything stick out like that?
I know you guys are fixing the website, make it easier. It wasn't very easy for me to do it, but I'm glad that you actually had somebody help me do it. I do like the interaction the website has itself straight to Gymdesk, so I don't have to do a third-party hyperlinks or anything like that. It just goes automatically. It's tied in automatically. I like how you guys are easy to do the billing, have the credit cards in, and then you get to, one thing I will say though, is that maybe if you guys have a little bit more of credit card authorizations or something rather than the 3 I think you have on there. But regardless, I believe it goes through authorize.net, which makes it totally easy. It just like when I called authorize.net, hooked it up, everything's just seamless. I don't have to worry about hey, you know what? I'm putting this credit card through and I have to wait this, and this. It goes automatic. Yeah. I don't have, it's like goes from point A to point C instead of okay, A, got to go to B, got to go to C, got to go to D before it comes back around to my bank account, if that makes any sense.
Yep.
So everything just runs smoothly. I know my customers, they love the aspect of the Gymdesk app. They can download that. They can keep track of their memberships, their belts.
Yep.
They can keep track of their information. They can do the credit card information. They can see their invoices. They can see the messaging. It's just great on that aspect. I like the aspect that where I really have a lot of control of the dashboard. I can do a lot of stuff my own. Some of the stuff, it's a learning curve, but once you get the hang of it, it's pretty easy.
Yeah, and a couple of things. The website where you build it, it's all included, right?
Yes, that's the beauty of it. The subscription includes the website, which is awesome.
And we're releasing some new updates to make it even easier to make those changes. So that's going to be.
And I love how you some of the feedback I've given you that you have taken it based on the website and stuff like that. I do appreciate it. FYI to people that are listening to this that you guys do value feedback, which is great because it's not on deaf ears.
Yeah, and one thing I can say that we had some feedback on that Joey was especially. I would say it wasn't the first time I heard it. And for those people who don't know, so I've been on board now, CEO, for how many months now? What month are we in? September. I'm almost a year, not quite. But I'm here to basically build a lot of the customer-facing roles that we just didn't have. And you had feedback from me about 6 months ago. Hey, it'd be great if I could call in. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, yeah, I agree. I would love to have that. I just need to build the business around it. And the time is now. We're actually recruiting right now so that people will be able to call in.
Since you opened that door, I will say this though, about 6, 7, 8 months ago when we first met, that was something that was kind of a turnoff, is that if I had any issues, like I said, it was learning curve. If I had an issue, I had to message in, and you probably wouldn't hear from somebody for 24 to 48 hours. And if it was an urgent matter that you need your business to run on something, that wasn't feasible. I'm glad you listened to the feedback. And I mean, even a chat line or like a phone would, especially a business like yours, would be phenomenal, and I'm glad you're working on that.
Yeah. And I mean, the reality is, just like any business, as we're growing, which is great, and we just need to staff. And that's what we have been doing. And I mean, we have a chat now, online chat. In my opinion, it's like, well, if I'm in your shoes, because I have been in your shoes, I own restaurants, and if my POS goes down, it is a nightmare.
Exactly.
And I need to pick up the phone and talk to somebody.
In real time.
Yeah. And so I have that energy too, or experience. So it puts it into like, well, I want to drive towards that. It just takes a little time to get there. But
sometimes that's a deal breaker, right?
Yeah, for sure. So, but I'm glad I'll be able to, tell you soon, hey man, we're there. Call us anytime.
And I got your personal number, so I'll be messaging you live. Just kidding.
Yeah, that's great, man. Man, this has been great. I'm happy to be here. I'm glad. I mean, I only met you like twice, but we've talked several times.
Oh yeah, we keep in touch though, which is a great thing. I appreciate you, and I appreciate like keep in touch. And then if I send you a message or vice versa, we always answer. So that's always a good thing.
Yeah.
And we keep this relationship cordial, so it's not like we're bothering the shit out of each other, right? Yeah. But anyways, me more so, right? But at any rate, I appreciate when I do. If I can't get a hold of somebody, or if I do send you a message to help me out right away, that you're on top of it. I do appreciate that.
All right, man. Well, thank you so much.
No, thank you. I appreciate you. Yeah. I appreciate your business, and I appreciate you, and I appreciate everybody that works with you. So it's been a great experience. That's the reason why I'll stay with Gymdesk.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, you come back, right?
I am.
All right.
I'll be here.
All right. Thanks, sir.
Maybe tomorrow.
Yes, sir.